Welcome to Phrasal Verb Practice. This is the place to learn real English, one phrasal verb at a time. My name is Marissa, and I'll walk you through this learning journey. Hi everyone, I hope you're doing well. Today, we're going to learn and practice the phrasal verb, bring along. So let's start with what bring along really means in everyday English. When we say bring along, we mean to take someone or something with you when you go somewhere. It's very common and very natural. For example, you can bring along a friend if you want. Please bring along your ID to the meeting. She decided to bring along her laptop. So the idea here is simple. You're going somewhere and you're not going alone. You take a person or an item with you. Now let's look at how people usually understand bring along in other languages. In Spanish, it's often like llevar consigo or traer. In French, people say amener or apporter. In Portuguese, you'll hear levar or trazer. In Italian, it's portare con sé. In German, it's mitbringen. In Japanese, it can be motteiku or tsurete kuru. And in Chinese, it's usually dailai or daiduchu. People use bring along in very normal situations. They use it when they invite someone to join them, when they remind others to take something important, or when they talk about meetings, trips, or plans. Let's look at a few clear examples together. You can bring along a guest if you'd like. Don't forget to bring along your documents. She brought along her notebook to class. He asked if he could bring along his sister. Please bring along anything you might need. Now let's talk briefly about how bring along works grammatically. Bring along is separable, which means you have some flexibility. You can say, please bring along your passport, or please bring your passport along. When you use a pronoun, it goes in the middle. Please bring it along. You can bring them along. Now, let's practice. First, you'll listen to a short text from everyday life. Then, you'll hear another text in a professional or office setting. Are you ready? Let's start. Saturday mornings are usually slow for me, but this one turned into a full day without much planning. I was getting ready to go to the market when my sister called and asked if she could come. I told her she could bring along her dog, since we planned to walk anyway. Before leaving, my mom reminded me to bring along some cash because the small stalls don't take cards. At the market, I ran into a friend from work. She was surprised to see me and asked if she could bring along her kids next time, since they loved fresh fruit. We chatted for a bit, and then she realized she forgot her reusable bags. She laughed and said she should have brought along a checklist. After that, we decided to walk to a nearby park. My sister suggested we bring along some snacks and sit in the shade. I went back to the car to bring along a blanket and a bottle of water. It felt nice to slow down and not rush anywhere. In the afternoon, my cousin called and invited us to a small family get-together. She said it was very casual and told us to bring along anything we felt like sharing. I decided to bring along a simple dessert, while my sister offered to bring along drinks. On the way there, she realized she'd left her phone behind, so we had to turn back and bring it along, too. At the gathering, people kept arriving little by little. One uncle showed up late and apologized for not bringing along his famous salsa. Everyone joked about it, and no one really minded. The mood was relaxed, and conversations flowed easily. As the day wrapped up, I thought about how often plans change when people bring along others or small things. It wasn't about the market or the park anymore. It was about sharing time, and sometimes all it takes is deciding to bring along the people you care about. Great, that was the first text. How many times did you hear the phrasal verb of the day? Now, let's move on to the second text. The week started with a planning meeting for a client visit. Our manager reminded everyone to bring along their laptops and any notes from the last review. She also suggested we bring along questions so we could use the time well. As people joined the room, you could hear quick checks like, "Did you remember to bring along the updated slides?" Later that morning, I sent a follow-up email asking the team to bring along their badges for the site tour. One colleague replied that he'd also bring along a printed agenda, just in case the Wi-Fi was unreliable. It felt good to see everyone thinking ahead. During the visit, the client asked if we could bring along a junior analyst to explain the data details. Our lead agreed and said it was a great chance to bring along someone new and help them grow. The analyst looked nervous at first, but having the chance to bring along real experience clearly boosted her confidence. After lunch, we moved into a workshop session. The facilitator asked us to bring along examples from our own projects. As the discussion warmed up, people started to bring along ideas that hadn't been shared before. It changed the energy in the room and made the session more collaborative. In the afternoon, we prepared for a short presentation. I reminded my teammate to bring along the client feedback from last quarter. He nodded and said he'd bring it along so we could address concerns directly. That small detail helped the presentation feel more grounded. As the day wrapped up, our manager thanked everyone and encouraged us to bring along the same preparation and teamwork to future projects. Walking back to our desks, it was clear that knowing when to bring along people, tools, and ideas can make work smoother. Sometimes success isn't about doing more. It's about choosing the right things to bring along at the right moment. Great, that was the second text, and that's all for today. Thank you so much for following this channel, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.